Hello everybody, this is Dr. Langdon, board certified pediatrician, mom of 6 and grandmother to 3, with a topic that is one of my least favorite things in the whole wide world, stinging insects. I hate them. Now before you come at me, I fully understand that life on this earth as we know it would cease to exist because many of these are pollinators. I get it. I don't want you to teach your children to hate them. I want you to teach your children to love them. But I am scared of them, so you should know that. Let's talk about it. The reason I'm scared of them is when they sting you, it really hurts a lot. All these insects are in the order Hymenoptera. Do you remember from high school biology class, we all learned kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So the order of Hymenoptera includes basically anything that could sting you. Some of the things that are the most aggressive are wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, but the Hymenoptera also includes honeybees, carpenter bees, all the bees, that whole family, all the ants, all of that. Now, in the ant family, the ones that we really detest are the imported fire ants, IFAs, and Asian needle ants. Now, the imported fire ants, or just fire ants, we call them not affectionately around here, are particularly aggressive. And if you disturb their nests, which are kind of huge mounds, they can crawl all over you and deliver a very large amount of venom. And it's all the same kind of venom, Hymenoptera venom, and it can be very dangerous, and that's why we're going to talk about this. So there are basically two different kinds of encounters with stinging insects. It could be one of the little worker insects, bees, wasps, whatever, flying around. Oh, and my husband wanted to mention, well, he didn't want me to mention this, but I did. He was teaching me, he was mansplaining to me, okay. He was an agricultural engineer major, so he had to take classes in entomology, and the queen bee has an ovipositor, or this specialized piece of her body that, does the eggs, and that's modified in the worker bees, who are haploid, basically bastard daughters. They're only, a half set of the full genome, and theirs is modified. Instead of an ovipositor, it's a stinger. That's where they deliver the venom when they're stinging you. Now, many of these insects can sting multiple times. It is only the honeybee that has one sting. Now, they do leave the sting. They have a barbed stinger. Ouch. And so you should actually, right after it happens, try to remove that. No squeezing. So try not to use tweezers, but just like the edge of your nail or the edge of a credit card and kind of flick it out. So let's talk about what to do if you do get a sting in this single encounter. Then we'll talk about the other kind. In a single encounter, if you have one little bee or yellow jacket or something following you and they're just out scouting, first of all, don't do this. If you strike at them, bat at them, you're just going to aggravate them and make them think they're being attacked, and then they could become more aggressive. Don't flail. Walk away calmly. Okay? Now, what if you get this one isolated sting? Then if it's a bee, honeybee with the barbed stinger, do try to flick it out, take it out. The other ones, the wasp keeps their stinger. The hornets, all those, they usually sting, inject the venom, and then go on. And they don't die. They can even, some of them are so aggressive, they can literally bite you with their mouth parts so they can sting you multiple times near the exact same location. Yellow jackets will do that. They are mean. Ugh, I just detest all of them. So you've removed the stinger. If it was a honeybee, go back to the house. Get cool. Wash it in soapy water. You can apply, if it's really itchy, some low-potency topical corticosteroid, hydrocortisone cream. You can it's important to put ice or a cold pack on there for at least 10 minutes at a time and keep changing it out, because that coldness can shrink the blood vessels and reduce some of the inflammatory things that are happening, all those cascades in there. Keep it elevated if you can, if it's on an extremity. You can use a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medicine like ibuprofen or Aleve to reduce some inflammation. And you can use a long-acting, non-sedating antihistamine like cetirizine, brand name Zyrtec, something like that. You could do all of that, and usually it would not be a problem. Everything would be fine. Now that's one version of the encounter. Here's another, and this is the terrifying kind. What if you accidentally, this has happened to my husband before working on the farm, accidentally chopped with a hoe a yellow jacket nest, or accidentally bumped a hornet's nest, or, a whole hive of bees or something. First of all, if it's a honeybee, call a beekeeper to carefully, safely, professionally, but with treating the bees with so much kindness, relocate them. Now, it's different if it's a hornet's nest or something you really don't care about relocating, but you should still call a professional to help. I don't want you to get stung to pieces. They have specialty equipment to protect them from stings. If you should accidentally stumble upon this and a horde of these demonic insects, I'm really scared of them, are following you, they prefer dark spots and will fly into your nose, eyes, and mouth. So you need to quickly, remember the last one single insect, walk away calmly, no flailing. Still don't flail because they can get more aggressive, but make sure your mouth and nose are covered and try to shield your eyes and run. They are attracted to dark things, so sometimes wearing a very light colored clothes could help. A lot of common advice is to avoid wearing perfumes or floral clothes, but that's in studies not actually been shown to make a huge difference. But light colored clothes are better than dark as far as you don't want to attract them at all. Now, if you did receive multiple stings, you could try to go straight home, take a very fast shower with soapy water and cover everything with hydrocortisone and take some ibuprofen and take some cetirizine and get very, very cool and put cold wet washcloths everywhere. But if you are having any signs of anaphylaxis or anything more serious with all those multiple bites, you need medical care immediately. So let's talk about anaphylaxis. It is when more than two systems are involved. So if you were going to have an anaphylactic reaction, you may initially just feel the sting or multiple stings, and then you may break out in hives. The hives represent the skin reaction. That's one system, right? What if you started vomiting after then? That's two systems. Two systems deserves immediate medical care. Or what if you started coughing and wheezing, and then you got really dizzy? Dizzy would be a neuro symptom, coughing, wheezing, respiratory symptom. That's two systems. You need to go in. So please respect anaphylaxis. It turns out that this venom from the Hymenoptera is particularly good at triggering anaphylaxis. That's bad. So if you know you anaphylax to venom from Hymenoptera, you should have an EpiPen with you, or if your child does, all the time. That's every field trip. That's every vacation. That's every trip to a restaurant. Every time, because you cannot always predict when you're going to run into fire ants, especially. They're everywhere down here. And if you just accidentally step over their mound, they are extremely aggressive at attacking that poor little foot in that mound. It's horrible. So you should be comfortable administering an EpiPen to yourself and to your child if either of you do that. Up to 3% of stings can become anaphylactic. Isn't that crazy? And visits to the emergency department, there are a lot of them, between 900,000 and 1 million visits for stings and non-dog bites, insect bites. Crazy. A lot of people initially think it's an infection maybe at the site, but if it's in roughly the first 48 hours, it's probably not an infection. It's just a severe localized histamine response. And that's when you could do the hydrocortisone cream or maybe some aloe or something like that as often as you could to keep that inflammatory response down. But now certainly if it had been several days and it was suddenly redder or more painful and there were streaks of red coming from it, or you had a fever, absolutely you should be seen for a potential cellulitis from where it broke the skin. Let me make sure I told you all the things I wanted to tell you. Oh, one of the statistics I found on the UpToDate website was up to 62 deaths per year from anaphylaxis from these venom attacks. And there is, if this happened to you, an anaphylactic reaction, you should see an allergist and they could test you for additional allergies. Even your primary care person or even the emergency department should prescribe you an EpiPen after anything like this happened. And there are allergy shots or venom immunotherapy, VIT, to help you become desensitized so that it reduces your risk of having any additional anaphylactic reactions to insect stings. So that was a lot of information. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you have additional questions or other topics you'd like for me to cover, just let me know. Thanks.